In an industry stuffed with marketing bullshit, empty promises, and shiny-suited liars, one woman's had enough. She knows what it's like to have the wrong clients, no money, and no time for fun. But she also knows how to fix it. And on the Business for Superheroes show, she promises to tell the down and dirty truth about business, sales, and running away with the circus. Here's your host, Vicky Fraser.
Hello and welcome to the Business for Superheroes show. I'm Vicky Fraser and this is my husband Joe.
Hello.
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 We are drinking not gin this week. We are in fact drinking Mexican lager. Cheers.
Cheers.
Which is, I don't know, why are we not drinking gin?
Because we've got leftover Mexican lager from last night, where we drank too much Mexican lager after we drank too much wine.
Yes, because we were celebrating our friend being accepted to train as a paramedic, which is very exciting.
It's very cool.
It's very cool. And we were also nosing around their house, which they have been renovating for the past 4 years, and getting really excited because it looks amazing.
It's really close to done, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're choosing colours and painting things and...
Yep. And it's got us all kind of thinking, oh, there is an end to this endless cold. But yeah, we're going to build. So we were always going to turn the Rayburn room into a library, but we were going to kind of get like a craftsman to come and build some expensive oak bookcases. And whilst that would be lovely, what Andy has done is create bookshelves shelves out of old new
scaffolding boards.
And so we've seen one of our neighbours has, I guess, upcycled scaff-boards, and they look beautiful as well. So we've decided that we are going to build ourselves just a room full of bookshelves out of sanded and waxed scaff-boards, and they're going to look gorgeous.
That's the plan.
So we're going to do that. We're going to start doing that this summer probably, aren't we?
Kind of scary.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that doesn't really have... We don't even have to have good weather to do that.
No, we could just do it.
We could just do it.
And we could start stripping the anaglypta wallpaper off the walls, which may reveal all manner of horrors.
Yes.
And the dodgy ceiling, which we need to do anyway, because we need to have a look at we need to replace the floor above before we turn it into Anyway, lots of things to do. It's all very exciting.
Endless list of things.
But back to business.
What are we doing here?
Well, we are following on from last week. So last week we basically asked, who are you? Who?
Don't do that.
Why? We were saying, and so we just want a quick recap because this is a little mini series of how to be more interesting. We talked about objections to being yourself in your marketing.
It's not very professional.
It's not about me. Nobody wants to hear about my boring life, all that kind of thing. All of which is nonsense, which you will now know if you listened to last week. We also talked a little bit about your mission and your why and how important that is.
Yes.
We talked a little bit about the Wright brothers, didn't we? And Samuel Pierpont Langley and Apple and Simon Sinek. Watch Simon Sinek's TED Talk, Start With Why, and read his book because it's very good.
Very good book.
And we talked a little bit about your voice and how you shouldn't censor yourself because, if you censor yourself, then you're watering down who you are. And there's a time and a place for everything, but, you do need to be yourself.
And by being yourself, you will attract customers who actually like you.
Yeah.
Who are much easier to work with than people who are
exactly
either not like you or don't like you.
Exactly. And so following on from all of that, very closely, in fact, this was going to be in last week's podcast, only there was far too much to talk about last week, so we've run over to this week. We are talking about having an opinion.
Goodness, are we allowed those?
Well, I don't know, it depends if we're snowflakes or not.
Okay.
Really. But kind of I wanted to start by mentioning that, it's the whole people do business with people rather than businesses. And what people want from you is your unique take on life and business, because there are a bazillion other people who do more or less what you do. And, people could choose any one of those, but they don't just want your knowledge and skills and your abilities. They want your unique take on what you do and why you do it the way you do it and how you do it. And there's always a lot of different ways that you can do things.
Okay.
Usually a lot of different ways, not always. I can only do maths so many ways, I suppose. Calculus, arithmetic. Okay. Anyway, we've just been listening to Bill Bryson's A Short History of Nearly Everything, and they were talking about Isaac Newton and how he just invented calculus and then kept it quiet for 27 years.
Yes, and then Leibniz got upset because he thought he invented calculus.
Only he didn't.
Well,
he did.
A bit debatable, isn't it? He did invent it, but it was concurrent inventions, wasn't it?
Yeah, which I think happens quite a lot. Anyway, so you're really who you are. Your personality and your you-ness is really made up of your hopes and fears and dreams and adventures and the experiences that you have in your life and your interactions with other people. And all of that stuff makes up who you are, and it gives you your unique take on life and your unique view on, you know, what life is and what business is and all the rest of it. And so, you know, that's what your voice is. Your voice, I think there's a nice little... I talk about your voice because that's what people will see in your marketing. So, and you know, our voices right now are on the podcast, but also when I write my emails and my marketing, Joe's yawning massively right now. And you've completely derailed my train of thought.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's all right. And Whiskey's just arrived. Hi, Whiskey.
Hi, Whiskey.
Hello. Are you going to say something? Say something to the podcast?
No.
No, she's not. But yeah, your voice is what you use to put your you-ness across in your marketing. And I've got a nice little formula for your voice. Your voice is the sum of your style, your experiences, your observations, and your enthusiasm.
Okay.
The voice you use and the voice that people hear when you talk about your business and when you sell your business and all the rest of it is the sum of who you are, all of the people you admire, all the people you can't stand, all the people who has touched your life in some way, as well as all the stuff that comes from within.
Okay.
And when you think about it like that, I like thinking about it like that because you think, you know, people tend to think about themselves, oh, this is who I am. And you don't think about where that you-ness comes from.
Right.
And some of it comes from within, for sure, but an awful lot more of it than you might think comes from without. So it's all of the stuff that happens to you. And, you know, you are the way you are because of the things that happen to you. Does that make sense? You're looking really blank.
No, I'm with you. I got sidetracked when you said without, because of Macbeth. The little comedic scene in, like, is it Act 2 or Act 3?
I don't know the show. I don't know the play that well.
You don't know the show?
I don't know the show that well.
It's not on Netflix yet. Yeah, there was a knocking without the door. There's a doorman scene, which is quite amusing.
There is. I remember now. Yes, there is a knocking without. So, yeah, basically.
Voices.
Yeah, your voice. You need to bring all of that stuff into how you talk about your business and how you market your business and, you know, what you care about, because what you care about is informed by all of this stuff that makes you you. And you can bring that into what you say and how you say it and who you say it to and all of that good stuff that, you know, comes from marketing your business. And I think you can always tell if you're really being you with who you are, because if you feel 100% comfortable with absolutely everything you say, you're probably holding back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because quite often I will write an email and I'll hit send, like one of my daily emails, marketing emails, and I'll hit send and I'll be like, ooh.
Might have upset someone.
Ooh, what if I've upset someone? And it's like, you know what, I might have upset someone and that's okay. You know, unless I've said something really mean, because I try never to be really mean. In fact, I try always to never be really mean.
Yes. Never be mean.
But if I say something that might, you know, trigger somebody to be offended, then I don't really care. And if you don't raise a reaction in somebody at all, a negative reaction, you're probably not going to raise much of a positive reaction in other people either. Yeah,
I mean, I guess that's a very different thing from deliberately trying to annoy or offend, because that's just trolling, isn't it? That's just nonsense.
Yeah, that's trolling.
And if that's who you are, then good luck.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't mind if people aren't that bothered about, you know, if people don't like you.
Yeah.
That's okay. It just means they are not your ideal customer.
Yeah.
You are not their ideal supplier of haircuts or garage mechanicking or whatever it is that you do.
Yeah. So I think if it sometimes feels a little bit scary, if the marketing you're doing sometimes feels a little bit scary, then you're probably getting pretty close to where you want to be in terms of putting your personality into your marketing and putting yourself out there. Because when you're finding and using your true voice, you'll be racked with self-doubt at times. And I know that because I often still am. And it'll be, it makes you nervous. I worry, is this going to upset people? Is it going to ruffle their feathers? Is it going to make them think that I'm crazy? Am I being too over the top here? Am I sharing too much? Will everybody hate me? And you can let that, and you're laughing. But I know that people listening to this will know exactly what I'm talking about because it's that churn of thoughts. And you can let it paralyze you. You can let it paralyze you to the extent that you never do anything interesting.
So, I mean, I guess what you're advocating is... So I guess there was a sort of traditional barrier between personal and professional life, and a lot of people still operate that way. They have their personal stuff and their actual humanity is kept separate from their job,
which is insane when you think about it.
People still do that, though, don't they?
They do, but I find that it must be really hard work because you do not suddenly become a different person the second you walk into your office in the morning. Nobody does. You are the same person with the same worries, the same cares, the same. We are messy. We don't. Most, like 99.9% of people do not compartmentalize well. They bring their messy work home and they bring their messy life into work, and it's just the way it is. And it's like you shouldn't be emoting all over your colleagues all the time because there's nothing more annoying than that. But
yes.
But you don't leave that stuff behind when you walk into work. It comes with you. You perhaps try and push it aside for a while. But you have to remember when you're marketing to people, they are still the same person when they are doing their jobs as when they are not doing their jobs. And that's the important thing. And the other reason for being, for not stifling you and for not letting these worries paralyze you is because this is who you are and that's okay. Who you are, unless you're Jeffrey Dahmer or something, who you are is probably pretty good. You're probably a pretty good person. You don't have to apologise for being you. And you shouldn't apologise for being you. You should not betray who you really are, because there are so many people who are fake out there, who are being deliberately fake or who are being fake because they're too afraid to let themselves out. And I just think that's really sad, because life is too short for that.
Okay.
So if you spend your whole time, and I talk about this in my new book quite a lot, the difference between kind and nice. And even the definition of nice is external. It's all to do with how other people perceive you and how other people see you, whereas kindness comes from within. It comes from your values. So quite often being kind isn't necessarily being nice at all. Because some people don't need to hear the nice surface sugar-coated stuff. That's not going to do them any good. Whereas sometimes if you can say something that's a little bit tough to hear, it's going to help them in the long run. And so it's that kind of difference between really being who you are and just pasting a mask on to somehow please or fit in with what everybody else expects of you.
So tell me why in a business sense is this valuable? What difference is there when you behave this way?
I think there's a couple of differences. First of all, you will stand out from everybody else who is also papering over a mask that they think everybody wants to see. If everybody is conducting themselves to the same standards that they believe everybody expects of them, then we're all going to look the same.
Everyone's beige.
Yeah. And the second reason is it just opens up a whole new rich world of feeling and ability to empathize with other people and ability to put some of yourself out there and have them empathize with you. It opens doors for you that, you don't get, if you spend your whole life being fake, and I don't say fake in a kind of mean way, but being that kind of fake that you want to fit in with other people. Being hidden. You're cutting yourself off from a whole depth of emotion that you could be getting back from other people as well. It's like that whole, if you don't love yourself, how can you expect to love somebody else, or how can you expect them to love you?
Amen.
But RuPaul wasn't the first person to say that. No. I'm fairly sure, but it's true. If you hold back, you can't expect to get 100% from the people that are around you. You get, and this isn't a woo-woo thing to say, but you do get out of life what you put into it, and you get out of relationships what you put into it, and that goes for business relationships as well as personal relationships. Okay. So that's why. And also it's exhausting to pretend to be something you're not. Why would you want to spend your energy doing that when you could be spending your energy doing something so much more fulfilling?
And the risks of doing this?
Well, the risks of doing it is that some people aren't going to like it.
Right. Some
But-
people aren't going to like you.
Yeah, some will like you, some won't like you. So what? You know, it's a risk. Some people are not going to like you, and that's why I'm quite keen on bringing your opinions into what you do. And we've kind of taken a while to get there, but you know, all of this is tied into the same thing as like being yourself thing. But your opinions are part of what makes you stand out as well. They're part of what makes you who you are, and that kind of being real. It's like if you've got a strong opinion and you really believe in it and you have got the knowledge and experience to back it up, put it out there. I have far more respect for somebody who, let's take Brexit as an example, because I get enraged by the fact that Britain voted out of the EU. It enrages me, but it doesn't enrage me because in and of itself, I'm sad that it's happened, but I am angry the number of people who say I voted against Brexit because of them bloody foreigners, because they have all they've done is read headlines and made a snap decision like that, and it's like you have not put an ounce of thought into this opinion that you are holding. There is nothing to back it up other than your thin prejudices.
There are people who have researched it, thought about it, weighed the decision and decided to vote to leave.
And those people, I utterly respect their decision. I absolutely respect their decision, because I know one of them on Facebook. I disagree with him because I think that he's wrong about it, but he has put a lot of time and effort into researching it, and he has interpreted the facts as being, I think we're better off out of the EU. And you know what? I respect that, because he has got an opinion that's worth holding. For the people who have just decided they don't like funny brown people, or, you know, they don't coming over here and taking our jobs, I have zero respect for their opinion, because it's not worth having any respect for. There's no substance behind it. And it's the same, like if somebody, you know, if you ask my opinion on a golfer's swing, I simply wouldn't have an opinion on it because I do not know enough about it to hold an opinion. But some people will have an opinion on everything, regardless of whether they know something.
Regardless of their qualifications or experience.
Yeah, and that's right. Oh my God, it's like fucking anti-vaxxers. Anti-vaxxers. And if you're an anti-vaxxer, stop listening to this podcast right now, because I do not want you anywhere near my stuff. But that's like, don't laugh though, because these people are endangering the entire bloody planet. And for the arrogance of them to say, I believe that vaccines are dangerous, in the face of the evidence, 100% of all of the evidence everywhere, because they don't understand how to pronounce a few of the ingredients. And by the way, if you're freaking out about this, there's more mercury in the fish you eat than there is in any of the vaccines. So that's kind of like, but you know, if a doctor who has studied immunology for his entire or her entire life came to me and said, you know what, I'm not sure about these vaccines, then I will listen to that person. I'm not going to listen to, you know, the crunchy mom in the bloody woo group who's decided that vaccines are a bad thing. That's the difference. So if you have a strong opinion on something you understand well in your industry, you know, to do with your industry particularly, or not to do with your industry, just to do with something that you find important, and you can back that opinion up with well thought out arguments and hopefully some facts, then put it out there. Having a strong opinion on something that you know a lot about is fine, and it will help to assert you as an expert in your field, but also as somebody who puts thought and effort into things and takes the trouble to think. If you have a strong opinion on something you know nothing about, you're going to look like an idiot.
Yes.
And that's the difference. So I'm really in favour of, if you've got a strong opinion on something and you know what you're talking about, then put it out there, even if it's an unpopular opinion. Because if it's something that you believe very strongly and you have done the research and, you know, you've come to a considered decision on it, put it out there. Because you will draw towards you other people who have unpopular opinions. You know, you might be wrong, but at least you'll have thought about it.
Yes. Be prepared to change your stance at the point where somebody presents you with some proper evidence.
And that's the other thing. Be prepared to change your mind. We were talking to Charlie about this earlier, weren't we? And the fact that people are so unwilling to change their minds when presented with, it's like flat earthers. It's like, there's a picture of the globe as a globe. Why? How can you believe that the earth is flat?
I'm still not convinced that flat earthers actually are flat earthers. I think they're
trolls.
I think they're trolls. I can't imagine the mental gymnastics required to maintain that worldview. I just can't do it. I think they're just trolls. They're just having fun arguing with people.
There's people who genuinely believe the earth is hollow as well.
I think there might be some sick people who have some strange ideas, but I think people just enjoy arguing.
Do you think I'm going to get hate mail after my little anti-vax rant?
I don't know.
Quite looking forward to that.
Yeah. Feel free.
Feel free to send me hate mail if you think I'm evil and I'm trying to poison your children. I'd quite like children to not die of measles, frankly, but that's just what do I know? So, so whatever you're in the business of. So the reason that I think having an opinion and putting it out there is important is, and I can give you an example from me, is I am in the business of selling ideas. That's really what I sell. It's my knowledge and experience and my skills are all for sale, but that's not what people hire me for. They hire me for what I know, but they pay me for my perspective on life and the universe and everything, and my opinions on how marketing works and how, what the best way to write this is, or, what a good way to do that would be. Because, in marketing as in everything else, there's more than one way to do it right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that my way is the only way to do it, far from it. There are many other ways to do it. This is what works for me, and this is what I have experience in. And so the people who come to me are paying me not just for that knowledge, because they can get that knowledge anywhere. They're paying me for my perspective on it and how I apply it. And
so you have to actually have a perspective and be prepared to state it.
Exactly, yeah. And, I have some unpopular opinions about what works and doesn't work in marketing, and in my experience. And there is some stuff that I genuinely think is a waste of people's time and money.
Mm-hmm.
And, I advise people not to do it. But there's other stuff that's like, well, you know what? There's different ways to do it. This is the way that I know, and this is the way that I'm going to teach and advocate. If you can show me it doesn't work, brilliant. I will, I will take something. Because that's what it's all. It's about testing. Marketing is about testing and seeing what works and what doesn't. In fact, everything, all science is about testing and seeing what works and what doesn't work. I'm not saying marketing. Well, marketing is kind of scientific. Can be.
Yeah, well, it's certainly statistical, isn't it?
It's statistical.
You can't say it will work on that person, but you could say this will polarize this population, and you will probably,
Well, it's not even that, because it's like sometimes we don't even know why something works, but we know that it did. And so if that worked, do it again. Keep doing it until it doesn't work. It's really helpful to find out why something works, but sometimes you're just never going to know, because human brains are messy. We don't always know why people are going to do one thing or the other. But you just try it. It's like, if you find something that you think, oh God, that's a stupid idea, it might be a stupid idea, but you're not going to know until you try it. So take it and try it, and if it doesn't work, then, maybe try it again.
Yeah, you have to have that attitude where you can change your mind.
Yes.
Because you can't be one of those people who are like, the way I market my business is by browsing LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And, they just do that for the next 2 years while they slowly go broke.
And that's all they do.
That's just madness.
That is madness.
That is crazy talk.
And there's a lot of good stuff you can do with LinkedIn, but that should never be the only thing you do. It's eggs and baskets.
Whatever it is you try to do, like I thought, start us doing a podcast would be a thing that we tried that didn't work, that we might just stop doing. And here we are, 120 episodes in.
Much to your disappointment, we're still doing it.
Much to my amazement, we're still here. And it could, because it works.
Yeah, but this is, even if you don't sell ideas or skills, even if you sell physical things, all of this stuff is still true. Having an opinion is still true. Because they might be buying a thing, but they'll have to use it as well. And, there are different ways to use things. There are different perspectives on why you want to use this thing instead of that thing. And they'll also be choosing to buy this thing that they could get from anywhere from you, because something about you and your business and your perspective on life appeals to them.
Mm-hmm.
So, we could, back to toilet rolls again, because it's a commodity. We could buy toilet rolls from anywhere, and we have done in the past. But now I get my toilet rolls delivered in bulk from Who Gives a Crap. And the reason that I chose them is because something like 50% of their profits go into putting clean water and clean sanitation and clean toilets in places that don't have them. And I think that's awesome. The statistics on how many people don't have access to a clean toilet or clean water is just horrific. And so, does it cost more? Yeah, a little bit. But my money is going, I buy it in bulk, so we don't have to buy toilet roll off the cuff, as it were, ever again, because we've just always got boxes of it. But I feel like I'm doing something good for the planet and for humanity, because I've chosen these guys. And
that's because they expressed that they had an idea. They were not afraid of saying it. They said, this is our mission, this is who we are, this is what we want to do.
Yeah. And they call themselves Who Gives a Crap, which is not polite. I mean, it's not like sweary or anything, but it's not like professional.
No.
And
their marketing is pretty lightweight, isn't it?
Their marketing's cool.
They're like,
it's very friendly. They
conversational.
Yeah, they do videos of themselves sitting on the toilet, like sponsored toilets. I don't know if they're actually pooing. I kind of hope not, but they do like sponsored toilet sits and stuff, and it's just funny. And they have opinions. They are They care about what they do. And it's like, it's toilet paper. There's only so many ways. It's a cardboard tube and perforated paper. It's like, there are only so many ways that you can do that. So, yeah, basically. So yeah, start by sharing your perspective. And if you're not sure where to start with that, if you're not quite sure what your perspective is or what you should start with, or, start by slaying the vampires, I like to put it.
Huh?
So you can, in your industry, what really, really annoys you, what really grates your carrot, you can have a strong opinion about that. What would you change if you could? And that's where you could start with your strong opinion, somewhere that you're comfortable, on comfortable ground. It's like, so in my industry, again, I hate fear marketing, I hate guilt marketing, and I hate boring marketing. Mm-hmm. And I think it's shady. I hate the tendency for shady marketers to sell the latest bright, shiny object as the panacea for all business ills, because it's basically thieving, I think. Mm-hmm. And so it makes me cross, because there are a lot of business owners who are struggling, who will fall for that kind of shit out of and not because they're stupid or gullible, but because they're desperate for, to grow their businesses and to fix their problems.
Just because somebody can describe the problem they're in and offer them a DVD or something for $200 doesn't mean it's the solution.
Or who can frighten them into buying it. I hate that, frightening people into buying it and guilting people into buying it. Like, one of the things that I really hate is like, oh, if you can't spare, £1 a day or the equivalent of £1 a day, then you're a waste of space. It's like, actually, some people can't afford the equivalent of £1 a day. So don't shame them like that, because there are other things that you can do first. So that kind of thing, it really pisses me off about the industry that I'm in. And so I will quite happily stand here and yell at those people. And that's my opinion. And I think I'm right. I believe I'm right, because I don't think that treating people like that is okay.
Yeah, I guess those people might consider you to be leaving money on the table.
Well, fine, good. Okay. I don't want that money, because I couldn't look myself in the mirror if I had that money in my pocket. So that's fine. That's fine by me. And if I can make it less likely that, people like you, dear listener, will put less money in those shady bastards' pockets, then good, because your money is better off in your pocket than theirs.
Sure.
You could do things like listen to these podcasts and, read my emails and read my book, and, there's loads of free information out there until you're ready to take the step of paying somebody money to help you. And that's the way it should be. So yeah, have a think about, what really annoys you, and talk about that, because that always makes for a very lively debate, because you can, presumably people listening heard, the energy in my voice as I was like, it really annoys me that people do this. And so you can talk about that. You'll get people interested. Mm-hmm. And some people you'll annoy. And there are going to be people listening to this who will get really angry with me, because they'll recognize themselves in that shadiness and be triggered by it and be like, oh, Vicky's such a bitch, rah, rah, rah. And it's like, well, why are you so annoyed by that? Because if you're not a shady marketer, then it won't affect you. You'll be nodding along. If you are a shady marketer, you're going to, maybe if you're a sociopath, then you won't care. But if you're triggered by it, then you're going to be feeling guilty about something. So, yeah. What else enrages me? Flowery language. The word utilise makes me want to stab things. Just use. For God's sake.
Okay.
There's no reason ever to use the word utilise. Oh, stabby. Boringness. There's no excuse to ever be boring. And, people listening to this now have all of these many ways that they can not be boring. And, you don't have to be obnoxious to do it. You just have to be you. If who you are is obnoxious, then go with it.
Go for that.
Go for that. There will be people out there who respond to it.
Yeah.
My mentor is fairly obnoxious.
Pretty obnoxious. Hi, John.
And he does very well. So, because he is obnoxious, but he also has ethics and values, and yeah. So, so yeah. What's this week's takeaway, Joe?
Oh, have an opinion
and share it.
Yes, let people know.
Yes.
Be yourself.
Yes.
Get out there. Don't be scared.
Yeah.
Fight off the people who don't like you.
But have an opinion. Dare to have an opinion, and dare to share it. And just take, if you get, pushback on it, take it. Because you'll also get people coming out and saying, yes, I agree with you.
And then they will love you.
So coming up next week, we're going to be talking about who you're selling to.
Whom are you selling to?
Whom you're selling to.
I never understood when to use who and when to use whom.
Oh, okay. So next week, we'll talk about the difference between who and whom as well, and what is correct and what isn't, and whether it really matters. I don't think it really matters that much. But knowledge is always good.
Can't, 29 minutes in.
So you can, being as this is a being more interesting little series, you can pre-register for my brand new book, which is coming out in April. If you go to vickyfraser.com/flamingo, give me your name and email, and I will let you know as soon as you can order it.
Cool.
If you're one of the first few, you can get a limited edition hardcover.
Blimey.
I think. You can get something cool anyway, other than just the book. If you like this podcast, go to iTunes and subscribe. Leave us a review. We love that.
Do like reviews.
It'll help more people find us. Or just share it. If you know somebody who will enjoy this nonsense, send them to vickyfraser.com/podcast. And finally, if you are ready to invest actual cash money in yourself, then join my superheroes crew. Actually get stuff done instead of, wishing they will happen. If you've listened to the stuff from these podcasts and action the stuff from my book, then you're well on the way. So, and if you've got the means to do it, then join. You go to businessforsuperheroes.com/inner-circle, and we would love to have you. And that's it. So thanks very much for listening.
Yep.
Oh, Unsung Heroes is Eric B. Gay, who is the grown-up who pulls everything together and makes sure everything happens and kind of corrals all of the lovely people at Podfly to do what they do. So, Eric, thank you so much. And we will be back same time next week.
Like what you've just heard? Tell your colleagues, tell your friends, send them to www.businessforsuperheroes.com/podcast.